Okay, today I want to rant about the post office. So I turned to Yelp as a backdrop. Now, I guess people stopped complaining because I looked here and I see one of the last complaints was from me. Yeah, this was February 2018. And it says here, I try to avoid going here unless I have to. And this is the general post office, by the way. This is not just a satellite post office. This is the main post office in Brooklyn, where everything should be sharp and together. That post office was renovated some years ago, but it might as well serve like a satellite post office. So I said I try to avoid going here unless I have to, such as mailing international packages. So I rarely get to interact with the agents at the window. However, getting my packages is a completely different story. Years ago, there was a Chinese postman who drove the truck who did a great job. He would knock on my door and call my name so I know it's not a solicitor. Ever since he is not on that route, maybe left, things have gone south. I would be sitting at home waiting for my package. Online, it shows it is out for delivery. Then, sometime after 5 p.m., I see an update stating that package was unable to be delivered and no secure area to leave it. So the slip was left in my mailbox. There is no slip, but usually the next day, providing it's a mail delivery day, the slip would be placed in my box by my mail carrier. I've written letters to the carrier supervisor to no avail. I even wrote the inspector general. Yeah, the inspector general. But they told me they only deal with crimes. I consider falsifying a government document a crime. But they mean they go after postal workers who are stealing or throwing away mail in the sewer. So what I have done is always try to have my package delivered by a private company. Even when they offer me free shipping, I would pay extra for shipping, then have to go to the post office to pick up my mail. Some years ago, I was waiting for a package from UPS when I saw an update on my package that no one was home. I went out there to catch the brown truck. I caught up with him and his helper. He told me emphatically he did not have my package. I showed him a printout that shows where it stated delivery time was made. He still insisted he did not have my package and I'll get it tomorrow. I called up UPS, spoke to a supervisor who is responsible for his route. I told her what happened. The next day I got my package, but I never saw that UPS driver again. Big difference between now how private industry works versus the government. Okay. And then I went on with that. I'm just gonna scroll through this because I have a different issue I want to talk about. So within a few days ago, I had two sets of packages that were coming in. One from Best Buy and one from a company that does digital work. Where they can digitize your old films or VCR and so forth, VCR tapes. like the old movies from the 90s, made in the video 8 millimeter. But anyway, it so happens that two of those packages were coming in on different dates by UPS, and then UPS would turn it over to the post office, and that's where the problem begins. Because I have UPS tracking, but I don't have a code for the post office. United States Postal Service tracking. I don't have that. So what happened? The first package states that okay, it's delayed, and it's been delayed for like over a week. And they said, they will let me know. They will update me when it's there. Okay, finally, it arrived at the post office. It was turned over by UPS. Right? You figure, well, I have the delivery. Nope, no delivery, no anything. So I called the company up. No, I wrote them, and they wrote me back. And I said, well, I'm going to go to the post office tomorrow, I said, and get it, which was for Friday. And they wrote me back and told me, no, don't go. We'll send out a new package to you by FedEx. So they sent it by FedEx. So I think this was Wednesday, and by Friday, yeah, FedEx came with the package. So in the meantime, I had another package coming from Best Buy, and with that package, it also was turned over by UPS to the post office. This was on Wednesday the 17th November. Around after 11 in the morning, it shows it was turned over. So you would think I would get my package Thursday, right? No, it didn't work that way. Online, it shows around 6:50 p.m. on Thursday, the 18th. It shows that they attempted to deliver my package, and I wasn't here, which is untrue. I was right home looking at the evening news that time, and how they left a slip in my box with instructions. None of that is true. And it just really pisses me off that the post office can get away with such lies. And they've been doing this consistently over and over. And that's why the purpose of this video is to call out the United States Postal Service for telling lies, for claiming that they put something in my box that's untrue, that they put a slip in my box with instructions how they try to deliver my mail, and that's not true. I'd rather play now. They admit, we don't have the personnel to deliver your stuff. Sorry, can you come get it? Yeah, that'd be much better than this stupid run around and so forth. So what happened? I printed out the paper where it shows that 6:50 p.m. they claim they left something in my box, right, with further instructions. I mean, usually when they leave a notice in your box, you have two choices. One is that you can call them to have a redelivery, which I won't advise. I won't advise that because the madness will just continue. Or you can go show up at the post office with an ID and retrieve the package yourself. That's the better way to do it if you have the time. Okay, so that's what I usually do. Instead of telling them, yeah, I requested a redelivery, because in my case they never attempt to deliver it anyway. They just do this like you know online to satisfy the requirement to close it out. See, they never set foot in my building. So the next day So I printed it out, and the next day I decided I have to go to the supermarket. I went to Stop and Shop, and I'll go there, do some shopping, and I got my receipt from, there's the machine. You can check your own stuff out. It prints the receipt. It shows 11:39 a.m. on my receipt. 11:39 a.m. That's what my receipt shows when I finished shopping at Stop and Shop. Then I came home, and the Stop and Shop is like maybe like half hour away or more. If I take the bus. And FedEx showed up with the replacement package. Right? They showed up. This was Friday. So I got that package. The one that the post office was supposed to bring to me that they never did. Right? So I went down to the post office to see if I could collect the other package, the one that they claim was 6:50 p.m. They left the notice. I had to print out everything like that. I went there. Lady checked and checked and checked. She said, I couldn't find your package. However, I found this other box with your name on it. And I said to her, well, that other box I don't need, because I called the company up and I told them I didn't get my package. And they said, well, we're going to send you another one by FedEx, right? So this was Wednesday. And they said, we're going to send you one by FedEx, a replacement. And FedEx showed up around a little after 1 p.m. on Friday with the package. So it makes no sense me taking an empty box. So I told her I don't need that. You could throw it out and do whatever you want with it. I don't need that. So she told me, well, come back tomorrow, which is Saturday, and see if you can get the other package, the one coming from Best Buy. So I tell her, well, look, that means I got to stand in this long line again. Because what happens is that at that post office, there's like a window for picking up mail. Usually during the weekday it operates, but since the pandemic, that window has been closed due to staffing. This is what they told me. And we cannot, you have to go on the regular line. The regular line is a long line, lots of people usually standing at that line with all sorts of stuff. They're posting, buying stamps, buying money orders, buying this, buying that. So it's not really a joke, to be standing in that line. So I said, that means I would have to go on that long line. So she said, well, sorry, that's what you have to do. So I went back there Saturday. They couldn't find the package, the one from Best Buy. Right? Looked around, couldn't find it. Doesn't know where it is. Man gives me a number. He said, you could call the carrier supervisor to find out. I've been down that road before, several times. I've written maybe 100 times, I said. So I saw the supervisor from the post office. He was outside, you know. He was in the main area. And I said to him, I said, because the clerk had showed him the paper that I gave him and how he can't find my package. And I said to him, if you were if this post office were private business, I told him that you'll be out of business by now because you're not doing your work effectively here. I said, you've been losing packages have been late, and this has been going on and on and on. And there's like nothing to resolve the issue. It just goes on and on and on. So he really had nothing to say. He couldn't really say anything to defend the post office. But he's sorry about that, and to check back or what have you. So what I did, I came home. First, I thought I was gonna maybe buy a replacement, and one of those cables for the Ethernet. Then I said no, I'm just gonna come home, have my lunch, and after lunch, I'm gonna call that line for the post office, United States Postal Service. However, when you call that line, you have a choice. They ask you to put in the tracking number, the United States Postal Service tracking number, which I didn't have. I didn't have that number. I had the tracking for UPS. So that's another issue right there. And they want you, I'm on the phone, and they want you punch it in from the phone if it's a number. And it's really not that easy if you're using one of those regular phones to be fooling around, to be switching between number and letters. That's not that easy unless you're really, really good at it, you know, to be able to make that switch. And how often do I do that? No, I don't. So anyway, I didn't have the tracking for USPS anyway. I had the tracking for UPS. So what happened? I keep going around in circles because they want me communicate with this, this setup that they have, whereby you're not speaking to a human, you're speaking. It's a computer. So the way you get around that, and listen carefully, if you ever have this issue and you find you call the United States Postal Service number to complain, you keep pressing like zero, zero, zero. Keep pressing zero, £0, £0, zero, and eventually it may ask if you want to speak. Say you want to speak to a human, somebody live, and then it says something like, "Oh, you want to speak to representative? Hold on." And they tell you, "Well, we'll have a representative up next, like in 5 minutes." Or they give you a choice. Do you want? We can call you. You don't have to hold on. We can call you. Press 3 if you want to remain holding. Now, I advise do not let them call you back. Wait. So that's the trick. If you don't do that, you'll be waiting forever. So I waited, and the lady came on, and I spoke to her and tell her what the issue is. And I told her that, you know, the package, the particular package that I was supposed to get, it shows that at 6:50 p.m., right, on Thursday, they said they attempted delivery, and that I printed it out, and I went to the post office on Friday. They couldn't find the package, and then they told me to come back on Saturday. I went back on Saturday. It's not there. Now, when I checked again, I went back online. I checked. It shows that the package was delivered. It mentioned delivered to front door on Friday around 11:15 a.m. in the morning. Remember, I said I was doing shopping at the Stop and Shop. My receipt shows 11:39 a.m. This was on Friday the 19th, right? And they claimed that they were here and they delivered my package at 11:15 a.m. around that time, which is untrue. There's nobody here. There's nobody here, so I have no idea who they delivered that package to, but that's what it states. So I told her, I said, I happen to have a receipt by chance that shows that I was out shopping and when the receipt was printed, and I don't live close to the supermarket that I went to. It's like half hour away if you take the bus. And so she took all that information down, gave me a case number and so forth, and that was followed up by an email with that number. And she said some investigator, a team, it will be handed over to an investigative team, and somebody will get back to me in like a couple of business days and so forth. So hopefully that's the case, and then they will be investigating what happened to my package. And I told her, well, you know, she asked me like the cost of the item. I said it's like a little over $7 or so forth. But that's not the issue. That cable I need, to run the computer because I'm going to be running that, taking a course online, and with Wi-Fi not always that great. Like if you use Wi-Fi after a while, backup. But the high-speed system I have here, like right now, I'm getting like 1 gig, which is really a lot from Verizon. And the best way to really run this stuff, with the program I'll be doing, would be with the Ethernet. Plug that in. I don't have to worry about Wi-Fi and you know, and then I have to be using Zoom too. Some of those calls they use like Zoom. You have to get on the cam with people. All that takes up a lot of stuff. So I need as much data as I can get to the computer. And they gave me like a Mac, one of those Mac laptops. So I won't be using my computer. I'll be using a different system altogether. So she's put that down that I'm going to need that for work, for class, and so forth. So it's very imperative that I'm able to get online. So hopefully I hear from them and they can determine what happened to my package. You know, somebody claimed they delivered my package and it shows the timestamp. Delivered to whom? Nobody got my package. It wasn't given to a neighbor or anything like that. The building I live in has a camera. There's a camera right by the elevator. I live right near, like 2 doors from the elevator, and there's a camera right there. A camera can see if anybody came to my door, and there's a camera coming into this building too. You know, so I'm just so sick and tired of the post office with how they claim that they try to make deliveries. You see, which is untrue. It's really untrue. It's and this has been going on for years. And as I showed on the Yelp, it's like that was 2018, and here we are in 2021, 3 years later, more than 3 years later, because when I made that comment, it was in February of 2018. So that's like 3 years and I don't know, like 9 months ago, close to 4 years, and I'm still having the same damn problems with the post office. So I don't know how other people have it, but this is my issue here. And some people had other comments here on Yelp about the post office 6/30 2021. This was back in June 2021. They gave it a 2. It says this person is Katie G right there. New York, New York. As you can see, the general sentiment of the USPS isn't very good. It's really deteriorated over the last year. The nearby courthouse USPS hasn't been open during the pandemic, which is causing even more people to visit this location. Lines are insanely long, it's crowded, and all the bins to place pre-addressed packages in have been damaged, so they are not usable for 6 months or more. If you really need a USPS and this is your closest location, just plan to be there for a while. P.S. Bring tape and a pen or you'll be sad. So that's one comment there. Joanna B. She gave it a 1. She said today was a day that involved going on a joyride regarding Postal Service. USPS rarely fails to provide a seamless experience, rather, it's often aggravated. After walking this far up to the post office, lugging the merchandise I needed to send, I finally arrived at the window. The wait was slow and painful. They had some markers on the floor for social distancing. And she wrote this back in 9/30/20, this last year. I already helped myself to the free priority box and had the self-address label. All I needed was to drop it off at the window. Alas, not here. The employee behind the window would not give me a self-adhesive pouch to slip my label on the box. Instead, he suggested to buy a roll of tape for $5. Oh, really? Had I known, I would have brought my own. I wasn't looking to buy my fourth roll of tape that I rarely use. In addition, I couldn't even borrow some tape. Bah humbug. Out of principle, I left and saw the massive line waiting for service. Good luck. She mentioned that I was sending a package to Vietnam maybe like over 3 weeks ago. Somebody wanted some chocolate. They were being locked down in Vietnam for so long, and I said, "Oh, I'm gonna send you a package with some chocolates." So they had chocolates on sale here, and I guess like wow, getting chocolate in Vietnam is a big thing. But anyway, so when I went there, I had the tape with me. I had 2 rolls of different tapes, plus scissors in my bag, and I needed a custom form because you have to write down what you send in. And I looked around where they have like the different forms, the U.S. Postal form, and I couldn't find that form. So this is how badly this post office is set up. I remember the days when the post office used to have like pens you can use to write. None of that exists today. Good luck. Whenever you go to the post office, carry your own pen. So I asked the supervisor, I said, I can't find any custom form. And he told me, hold on, I'll get you one. And he went in and he brought like a photocopy of a custom form for me. And the lady happened to be there and she asked him, do you have any tape here? I need a piece of tape. And he told her no. And I said to her, lady, I happen to have tape in my bag, scissors and everything. And she was kind of surprised. Yeah, I did. She said, wow, you have to be ready for everything. I said, yeah, because this is a horrible post office. That's why. So I know the history, so I'm ready. I'm prepared. So I came with my tape, I came with my scissors, I came with everything. And she was happy because just like this person said, instead of going on and buy tape for, like they say, for $5 that she wouldn't even need, and there's nobody there. And in the old days, they used to have such stuff, the post office. They used to have tape that you could go there and get a piece of tape to put on your box. Nothing like that, Nothing is free anymore. So that lady happened to be in the right place at the right time when I was there speaking, asking the supervisor for the custom form. And when she mentioned she needed a piece of tape, and I had two rolls of different types of tape. So I just gave her the 2 rolls, whichever one you want, and she could cut it and put it in her box. She was so thankful. So here's this other person here, Andy B, Brooklyn, New York. I used to live close to this USPS location and would have to come here to get my packages. Most recently, I came here to mail a package to a friend. The line's incredibly slow, and they only had one person working. The place is always dirty and the air feels stale. Definitely not a post office I like visiting. And this was June the 8th, 21. And this person here must have had a good experience. Let it be 4 stars. I don't know why there's so many bad reviews. Guess it's based on experience. I go here all the time to check a mailbox they have for me behind the counter. I've seen everyone get treated so nicely, except the people with attitude and bugging out. I've been there crying, personal issues, and nobody was mean or rude. The woman tried to console me over that I didn't get my mail. Still, everyone who has seen me at the counter incredibly nice. There's also a gentleman who said he's going to extend my mailbox until I get the letter. HRA was supposed to send me a MetroCard back in March, and I still haven't got it. And this woman said FUCKHRA. But but anyway, yeah, well, she has to be lucky because when I was at the post office on Saturday, there was a woman complaining that she has a post office box there and something was delivered to it that she never got. You know, probably maybe they put it in a round box or so forth. I used to have a post office box over there years ago, like when I used to communicate like with the ham radio, speak to people in different countries. This was before the internet when you can, you know, just get online and you could communicate all over the world now. But back then, when you communicate by people like ham radio or the CB radio wave during the skip era, and you speak to people like I don't know, like sometimes you get like a lot of people in Europe, you know, Belgium and so forth, and other parts of the world, and they had these cards, and you send them one. So I used to have a post office box, and I used to get stuff coming in there. And sometimes I used to get the raw mail, and of course I would just go and hand it over if I get somebody's mail. But this lady was complaining, and she said, "Well, what's the point? I have a post office box. Uh, it was shipped to me. I didn't get it, and that was a complaint." So this lady here is an exception to the rule. Now, Madison O states worst USPS I have ever been to, and we're talking about the one in Cadman Plaza, downtown Brooklyn. This person riding from Portland, Oregon, but maybe living here. Worst I've ever been to. It's true, they treat you like the enemy. Be prepared to wait in line for a long time and experience the absolute worst customer service. The employees are incredibly rude without a reason. Everyone here has a bad attitude. Well, you know, one of the reasons they're rude is because there are really no consequences, okay? There are no consequences. The post office can mess up, they can lose your packages, they can do things, they can claim they put a slip in your box, they try to deliver to you, and nothing happens. Nothing happens. Apparently, there are no consequences. You know, that's why I wrote the Inspector General that time, because I said, well, I consider falsification a crime, but they don't see it that way. You see. And another thing about the post office too, remember I said on Thursday they claimed at 6:50 p.m. they tried to deliver my package and they put a note in my box. That never happened. Normally, this is the way the post office operates. If they really put a note in your box, you have two choices. You go pick up your package because they're not gonna bring it out again for you. Okay, if they showed up at your door and you went at home, it's like you wasted their time. So they're not gonna give you that courtesy and come back with that package. They're not like UPS. They're not like FedEx. UPS or FedEx will do that. They give you like three chances. You know, yeah, like UPS, FedEx, like the package I got um, on when was it, Friday? Okay, I had to go to the eye doctor around 2 p.m. on Thursday, and the package was due on Thursday. I left here around 11:15 to catch the bus to go to the eye doctor. And FedEx came here like after I left. So, I've been here all morning, FedEx never showed up. And then I had no choice but to leave. And then when I came home, I found a note on my door saying FedEx was here and they will reattempt to deliver the next day. And that's when I went to the supermarket and I figured, well, okay, FedEx is going to be here like maybe after 1, which is true. So FedEx came back the second day. If I were not here, they would attempt a third day. And if I'm not here the third day, then they'll send the package back. That's how FedEx works. With the United States Postal Service, they don't operate that way. They come once. And if you're not here, that's it. Too bad. Your choice is call them or get online and ask for redelivery, right? And then good luck if you get it redelivered. Or go to the post office in person and pick up the package. So, what's interesting about my situation is that they claim they tried to deliver at 6:50 p.m. They left instructions in my mailbox, and the next day they made the delivery of the package. That's not true because common sense tells you that the post office does not operate that way. Once they leave that slip in your mailbox, which never happened by the way, you have two choices. You go online and you say, okay, redeliver, and surely I didn't do that. That's for sure. I didn't go online because if I did go online, I will create a paper trail or electronic trail in this case, and it will show that I asked for them to redeliver, and I'll have that in writing, and they will send me a notification that I asked to have my package redelivered. So there's no record of me asking for a redelivery of my package. That never happened. So the whole idea that the post office, the carrier showed up and delivered my package the next day without me asking for it to be delivered. Any real investigator who knows their stuff, investigating, the post office, knows that that is not true. That is not how the post office operates. So right there, we know that is not true. The post office will never come back and bring my package like that. If they really, really attempted and left a note in my mailbox that says they attempted to deliver, they're not going to come back a second time and attempt to deliver the same thing. No, that is not how they work, believe me. And they know that too. And the investigators know that. And unfortunately for them, they have a timestamp showing that at 6:50 p.m. on Thursday, the 18th of November, that they left a note in my mailbox saying that they attempted to deliver. And then on the 19th, Friday, the next day, it shows a stamp that they delivered my package around 11:15 a.m. in the morning. Impossible, because the post office, regardless of how that old song or whatever says, a movie, that the postman always rings twice. No, the postman does not always ring twice. You know, I think there was a movie or something like that. The postman rings twice, always rings twice. No, that's not the case here. They do it once, and if you were not around to get your package, if they really showed up, too bad. You have to put in a request for redelivery, or you go pick it up in person. That's the way the post office works. The post office is not like UPS, and it's not like FedEx. It's not like DHL or one of those companies. It's not like that. It's the United States Post Office, and that's how it is. Somebody else has a comment here. Uh, Skylar W. Brooklyn, New York says, I never knew a post office could be so horrid. I dread having to mail anything knowing I have to go through pure hell at this post office. I just stood in line for an hour in the small building because there were so many fights at the counter, prompted by how rude the employees are. An employee made up rules for why he could not ship a poor girl's package, which we looked up standing in front of him on a website he made up and showed him he was lying to our faces. Yet he closed the counter and everyone refused to help us. I am turned away most times. I go for excuses like, what's that? Your tape is slanted, so I cannot ship this. Or the writing is a little smudged, so you have to get out of line and redo this. Before typing this, I went to the post office 2 times and was yet again turned away after an hour in line because they did not like how I taped my envelope and refused to provide any or sell me any. There was no offer to help. They just sent me away. I am appalled that this location is even in existence. UPS, you must reevaluate this location and the processes and employees. It is pure hell, and there is not a single employee that is half decent as a human being nor worker. Please do something about this. I notice the difference here with the post office. Like with some companies, people may complain, and sometimes you may have somebody from customer service or management who will get on, and they may write a response, which they can. But you never see that with the post office. Like some years ago, Charles Schwab, I wrote a comment because I had opened an account with them and I wanted to use the debit card. You can use that when you travel overseas or even here in the United States. You don't have to pay for ATM, which is great because if you're traveling, you don't want to be carrying around a lot of cash. You have to like go to the money exchange and so forth. So an ATM card comes in handy. And not only that, it's even better when you don't have to pay for the ATM fees, and you can just use it and get cash in local currency from the machine. And my problem was that Charles Schwab company, they screwed up, and when I put money in the account, it was in a different account, something like that. And when I went to the machine, I believe I was in, let me see, yeah, Laos, in Laos, that country, Laos. I was in Laos, and I tried to withdraw money, and there's nothing. It shows zero in my account. Can you imagine? You're in a foreign country, and your your bank rec comes up zero. It's a good thing I had a different account too from Chase, and I had some cash also. You see, so you always have a backup system when you travel. But anyway, so I couldn't understand what was going on. I thought it was an error. And by the time I got to another country, Cambodia, I had some good internet where I was in Siem Reap, that part of Cambodia, and I was able to use the hotel's Wi-Fi because in Laos, their their Wi-Fi, hotel Wi-Fi, that wasn't that great. Very, very slow. So I was able to write a comment, and somebody actually responded to me. Yeah, somebody responded to me and said I could call a certain number and they could try to help me, or so forth. Gave me a number, but I had a problem getting through. But anyway, that was rectified later on, and one story led to another, and I had to write that arm of the federal government, that new agency they created, and then I filed a complaint with them, and they got in the case because Charles Schwab had closed my account out. No, they said, sorry, what have you, but it's like a business decision, and that's how they had to do it. So they closed my account, which I thought was very unfair. There I am traveling. I put money in the account, and they said, "Well, you opened two different accounts." I said, "Well, I only got one Social Security." You know, and even if it's true that I did open two different accounts, one online and one with the paper that I sent in the mail, then you only have my name with one Social Security number. And in a modern age like this, with all the technology we have, shouldn't somebody at Charles Schwab be able to say, "Well, look, there's an error here or something"? No, you just closed my account. You didn't even give me a phone call, a courtesy call, or anything like that, and saying it's a business decision. And if you were to go to Charles Schwab website, on Yelp, you see a lot of complaints. Lots of people could have complaints that they were traveling overseas and their account, they couldn't even access their account. So they do some crazy stuff. But at least they had somebody who responded to me on Yelp. Different from like the United States Postal Service. All these people complaining. Nobody, nobody even comes on and responds. Just like Uber. Uber is another company like that. I wrote a complaint to Uber because when I went to Costa Rica a few months ago, back in the summer, the driver wanted me to meet him at a bus depot where you pick up where buses come, and I have my luggage and so forth. First time I'm in the country, I'm in San Jose, and he wants me. It's kind of confusing. You're in the country for the first time. You don't know where the hell you're going. You expect a driver who say, yeah, he's good, show up. He takes the job, and then he wants you to meet him. And instead of meeting you by the airport, I guess maybe he's not allowed in that area or something. I don't know, but that's not my issue. And then I'm waiting there, and the driver never shows up. The driver is there near the airport, but to get to him, I guess I would have to like walk through different areas and so forth. And I have like two pieces of luggage and one on my back, and I'm not gonna do that. I'm in a different country. I expect if you provide the service, come pick me up in front of the airport. And luckily, there was a lady there. She was waiting in a taxi, and I had a SIM card, and she asked me to use my phone. And she said I can use the taxi that's coming to pick her up because she had arranged with a driver. Because from what I heard, if you try to get a regular taxi at the airport in San Jose in Costa Rica, these people, these people play games, they're not honest and so forth. And they'll take you for a ride, so to speak. So I was kind of lucky in a way that while I was standing there, she was sitting there in the bus stop with some other people where I was, and I told her what happened to me. But anyway, I wrote to Uber to complain. Right, and by the way, it's kind of like a Byzantine website. It's like you're going through a lot of crazy stuff just to file a complaint with Uber. And Uber to me is like the United States Postal Service. So you have to like figure your way how to get around to file a complaint. There are like no phone numbers that I'm aware of. I think there's a phone number, but they say only like for an emergency thing you can use that, but not like to file a regular complaint. So I filed a complaint like 2 weeks out when I came home. I stood there for like maybe around 2 weeks in Costa Rica. Came back, filed a complaint right after. I didn't hear from them. Filed another complaint. Then this time they answered me and they said, "Well, we got your complaint, but you need to file a complaint within 30 days." And I wrote them back and said I did file a complaint within 30 days, but you never responded to me. I filed the original complaint, and then when I didn't hear from you, because I don't know how long it's going to take for you to respond, and then when I filed a second complaint, they said, "Well, you're late. You're more than 30 days out." So this is what Uber did to me. So I wrote a complaint about Uber. I went online. I wrote in Yelp, and a number of people have complaints about Uber. And then Uber having to write me and ask me, say they noticed that I haven't used them in a while. So that's how I was able to communicate with them again. And then I said, the reason I haven't used you in a while is because I filed a complaint, like after 2 weeks. After my incident, I told you what happened to me. The driver didn't show up at the airport. Yet I was billed. I think it was like $9, which is not really a lot of money. But I had to spend on the taxi. The taxi cost me like $25, $26 US dollars. So I had to end up spending that money plus the $9 I had to pay Uber. And I said, you never responded to my original complaint. And Uber wrote me back. Uber said that yes, they looked into it. They saw the complaint I'm talking about. However, this is what Uber said. However, you need to file a complaint within 30 days of an incident. So here we are going around in circles. It's like acting stupid, like taking a stupid pill. So Uber is saying that yeah, we looked at your complaint. We looked into it. What you complaining about? But you but they failed to acknowledge the fact that I said I filed a complaint that they never answered me. You see, I filed a complaint on their website. It was submitted. It went through. They never addressed it. Never heard from them. And then I filed a second complaint after, and they say it's too late, too late, too late. 30 days have gone, too late. So they're saying, they totally ignore the fact that I said I filed a complaint. Now, normally, a good business would say, you know what, in order not to lose this customer, we're going to waive that requirement because he said he filed a complaint and we're going to look into it. Uber did nothing like that. And Uber is supposed to be having this, great technology, all this stuff and so forth, hire a bunch of young people to run this stuff. And yet Uber is in the dark ages. To get through to them, to speak to somebody, a customer service, good luck. You see? Good luck. It so happens that the computer equipment that I had to pick up for the course, when I went to pick that up, like a couple weeks ago, a monitor and some other stuff, they gave me like what do you call it, a voucher for Lyft, like a $50 worth voucher free for Lyft, Lyft, that car service. So before I went there, I got the app and everything like that. So when I got the equipment and I'm at the building over there in Long Island City, I put that information in, and I was able to arrange and have a car from Lyft came to get me. And I don't have an issue with Lyft. So from now on, I'm not going to use Uber. You see? Simple as that. You know? Now I have a choice. I can use Lyft because Uber did not respond to my issue. They totally ignored me. They don't even get online and address some of the issues people have. Like if you go to Yelp and you look on the Uber, you don't even see where they say they're sorry or this or that. We'll work with you. Nothing. So to me, Uber is like the United States Postal Service. They don't give a shit. They don't care. They don't care. It's like you got no choice. But the difference here is that I have a choice. I don't have to use Uber, okay? I could use Lyft and I could use other car services because there are other car services that I've used over the years. If I want to go to the airport or something like that, I could use them. So I don't have to use Uber anymore. So they can write me as much as they want, and they write me a lot. Uber, Uber Eats, Uber this, Uber that. No, 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 no. Unless it's a real emergency and I have no choice, and I still have the account, then maybe I'll do it. But right now, no. I'm not going to do it. As to the United States Postal Service, that's very different because with them, you really have no choice at times. Okay, so if you want to send something to like Vietnam, like I did, okay, the best and the cheapest way maybe to send something there maybe through the United States Postal Service. However, there may be like other companies here, I believe, that send stuff to like Vietnam for less. But that's like going through a different procedure and think they're based in California and you have to like ship it out there or so forth. Just like with the Philippines, ship stuff to like friends in the Philippines. I used to use the United States Postal Service to send stuff. I don't do that anymore. I use like Johnny Air Cargo out in Woodside, Queens. And I solved that issue because with the post office you have to write, all that stuff, custom form and all that. With the Johnny Cargo, it's much cheaper. Yeah, it's much cheaper. So you can send 2 pounds or something for like the minimum would be like for like 2 pounds, which is like $16 and something. And then if you want to deliver, you add like $5 extra, and then deliver in Metro Manila, and you get your stuff there. So I don't use the post office to send anything to the Philippines anymore. Nope, I don't need them. I just use Johnny Air Cargo, and like within 2 weeks, the delivery, and you don't you don't have these issues. You see, I send a friend something for her and her brother. You know, he was having some kind of issue and some kind of stuff medical. I think was like with hemorrhoids and stuff, and it's in or something. A package with some stuff, and when she went to pick it up, the custom they're charging so much money, and the way it operates in the Philippines is that if something is like over $50, they include the price of the shipping. So let's say it costs $30 to ship a package to the Philippines, and the price of the goods you're shipping are worth like $55. So that's $55 plus the $30 shipping. That's that's $85, and that's how they calculate. That's how they calculate the fee or what have you. And she said she went to pick it up, and the man said to her, the custom man with a huge belly, big belly man, obviously living well, and he said to her, "Well, you know, you must have a boyfriend there who sent you money." And she said, "Oh, that's my friend," and he found it hard to believe. So what had happened, I read online before that a woman said she offered a certain amount of money, you know. So that's how she got the package for less, and it didn't come to as it didn't. Well, with the United States Postal Office, you can't do that. You can't do something like that. That'd be like bribery. And she was able to give him like a few pesos or what have you, and he took it instead of the money that would be charged in taxes. That would be like kind of outrageous, you see. So she was able to do that. There's an old lady in the Philippines who needed some medication, high blood pressure and so forth. And my friend used to work with the lady. The lady used to, work in one of these high-rise buildings, and she got older now, and she doesn't even have the money to afford. So I said, let me get the prescription, and I got it from India, real cheap. You can get this stuff from India, like diltiazem. And I said, I'm going to ship it to the mail. And they were like afraid. They say, well, we had stuff come through the mail and we had to pay a high fee, and we don't have the money. We don't have the money to do this because you ship to the U.S. mail, it goes to customs, it goes to the airport, and not the airport, it goes to the main customs in Manila, clearance, and then they assess if there's any duty and so forth. I think if it goes beyond $50, they charge duty. If it's like 50 or less, then you get it. You don't have to worry about duty. And they were worried, and I said, no, no, no. You don't have to worry about paying any duty. It's gonna come from a private company, and there will be a delivery, and I'm gonna pay to have the package delivered. And wow, they were so happy. The messenger showed up with the package with the blood pressure pills, you know, delivered it. They don't have to pay any duty, and they don't have to go pick it up at the post office or see anybody in customs to pay any duty. So that's like a blessing right there. That lady couldn't be more happier that she was able to get that stuff. That she said, the best I can do is pray for you. And I think that really does wonders. Prayers. She said, that's the best I can do because she's an old woman and she doesn't have social security or anything like that. And that's to buy blood pressure pills. Two types of blood pressure pills. Diltiazem, and there's another one that she uses. So two sets of pills, and I was able to get all these pills, like maybe like 13 months supply pills for not much money at all, coming from India. You know, so you get the generic, whereas in the U.S. you can't really do that. So you get the generic from India and ship it over there. A whole like 13 months worth of pills are shipped over there, and it doesn't really cost that much. So she doesn't have to worry about going to the doctor to get a prescription for that, even though she could. She doesn't have to worry about going to the pharmacy and buy. She has that for the whole year. You see, so using Johnny Air Cargo, and I mentioned them. So if you shipping something to the Philippines, don't even bother going to the United States Postal Service with the nonsense. Because in the Philippines, they open your package and sometimes they steal stuff too. So good luck if you get what you finally send there. Sometime that's not going to happen. And here's one last one here. This one says, Nate T, Brooklyn. This is the worst post office I've ever been to. The people who work here treat you like you are the enemy. Every time I go, I lose a little faith in humanity. And this person wrote this back in April 2nd, 2021. So that's my rant on the United States Postal Service. Um, I would I would never use them if I could, but unfortunately, most of the time, sometimes I get packages and like usually like some companies I deal with, they say they'll ship something to me for free, but free means coming by the post office. And however, they give you a choice. If you want to come faster, you pay a little extra and you get it delivered by UPS. And I always take the option UPS. You know, pay a few dollars extra. And the UPS guy I know been coming here for years. I don't have a problem with UPS. You know, only once I had an issue with UPS, and I called the supervisor. The supervisor know described the guy to me. Yeah, and I never saw that guy again. You know. The post office, no. If you have an issue with the post office, well, the only way you can do is like I did, spoke to that lady on the phone, and she said, she gave me like a case number, and they're going to do an investigation to find out what happened to my package, why it disappeared. That's about it. Other than that, I would avoid the United States Post Office like anybody would have avoided the bubonic plague back in Europe, you know, back then, that was killing a lot of people, a lot of young people. Avoid the United States Postal Service like the bubonic plague unless you have to, no choice but to go there. That's my warning.